What's up, y'all? What's up? Anyway, y'all, we back with another major video, and it's something been sitting on my spirit, something that I really want to deliver, which is like a message that I really want to deliver to y'all for real. But anyway, here we go though. Like this is what we're gonna be talking about today for real. We're gonna be talking about the young generation, for us, the young generation, the kids and the kids in the young generation. 9 out of 10. My thing is, where my concern is, you have a lot of kids out here, which is in the new generation that we seeing, which is in a population, the new generation that we seeing, where these kids growing in the new generation in the population or whatever to the point. So that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. And also, I want to talk about is some of these kids are really lost. You know what I mean? Because it's to the point where they not really getting no structure. They not really getting no real education. They really not getting no education from the school, the boards of education for real. When they go to the schools and things like that, to the point that they like it, to the point where the teachers not really paying attention to them, to the point where they really not really getting their education. They go home and they really don't get their full education that they're supposed to get coming from the parents and stuff like that, to the point. So that's why you really see a lot of kids, which is in this generation, is really kind of lost for it, because they don't have the full parents to really give them the education, give them that full authority that they're supposed to get. Respectfully coming in, to the point of like, and if you really sit back and see what the world is coming to, some people say, well, the world is coming to the end. You wrong. The world is not coming to an end for real, to the point. It's the point where you got to try to learn how to discipline your kids. You get what I'm saying? Because if you don't do that, because the parents trying to be something that they ain't, they trying to be popular, or they trying to be somebody or a celebrity, somebody that they trying to be, but they not for real. Because when you do that, you take the focus off your kids. You get what I'm saying? So you're trying to be something that you're not for real. So with that being said, for real, you're taking the focus off your kids and looking at somebody trying to be something that you're not. You get what I'm saying? And if you understand, that's why the kids are lost right now, to the point for real. They don't have no guidance. They don't have no structure, to the point, because the parents busy off somewhere doing something that they not to be. You get what I'm saying? So all focus will be lost from the kids. Now you got the kids in the community lost for real. And also bad enough, to the point when they go to the school for real, they don't get the full education that they're supposed to get coming from the teachers for real, because they got the teachers so busy doing something else instead of not focusing on the kids for real. And that's how you get some kids lost for us in educations and things like that, to the point where some kids struggle with reading, struggle with all different type of stuff, because you're not really getting a full education from your parents. And then when you wake up and go to school and their parents send you to school, you're not even getting the full education at school that you're supposed to get, that your parents supposed to give you the full authority education that you're supposed to get when you come home, respectfully, for the point. But check this out. The parents so busy partying, smoking, drinking, talking to other different guys and just like that. So all that focus will be lost from the kids. So the kids that sit back lost, like they don't know nothing. How can they lost them? In case they teach themselves, in case they get older and figure it out themselves for real. Because the parents supposed to be doing this. You get what I'm saying? Then when you go to school for real, you think when you go to school for real, you get the authority, get the education that you're supposed to get when you go to school, when your parents send you off to school for real, but you don't get none of that either. Then when you go home from school, you don't get the education that you're supposed to get when you go home. It's supposed to be rules and discipline when you're supposed to go home, respectfully coming in. So with that being said, to the point, and you really sit back and see how the world is functioning for real, the generation, which is the young generation, the kids in the young generation are very lost for real. You get what I'm saying? Because maybe the parents might be lost too a little bit. Maybe the parents don't know the things that they supposed to know, because back in the days when they was growing up, when they was youth coming up in the kids, when their parents was teaching them, you get what I'm saying? So with that being said, maybe their parents didn't discipline them the way that they supposed to discipline their kids nowadays in this new generation coming up, respectfully coming in, to a point. So that's something that I really been want to talk about. And you see back and you sit back and you figure out why everything is so screwed, why everything is not functioning the right way that it's supposed to function. You get what I'm saying? Everything is cloudy. You get what I'm saying? So, and I think the board of education, I really think it's broken. You know what I mean? The generation is broken. The kids in the generation is broken. They filled with pain. You get what I'm saying? Because they not really getting the full education, the full discipline that they supposed to get. You get what I'm saying? Especially when you send them off to school. You would think the school would give you the authority, give you the education that you're supposed to get. But I see that's wrong. You're really not getting that when you go to school. And then when you come home and get out of school, you're supposed to come home and do your homework. You got your parents that's not really even paying attention to you. They're supposed to help you with your homework. But what the parents doing? They somewhere on IG clapping. They clapping their butt cheeks for real. A steady paying attention to the kids and giving your kid a full authority education. You get what I'm saying? The parents is not doing that day. They so busy on social media trying to be something that they not, and taking the authority away from their kids, taking the focus away from their kids. You get what I'm saying? So with that being said, that will have the kids sitting back lost and trying to figure out to themselves and try to understand what's going on. Why is I'm not getting this authority from my parents? Why my parents over there doing that? Instead of me getting out of school and sitting at the table and helping me with my homework so I can have a full education. You get what I'm saying? So I can see myself with a full education. You get what I'm saying? Or maybe until I get older and figure it out myself. You get what I'm saying? Because I feel like if I got to get older and figure it out myself, I won't get the authority. I won't get the support that I was supposed to get. You get what I'm saying? So with that being said, it's just things that we need to just really focus on in life. You know what I mean? We really can't pay attention to the drill music and all the other type of stuff. See, that's what really got the kids going for real. All the drill music. All the drill music that they putting out there that the kids listen to is what you call a bad influence on the environment, and it's a bad influence on the kids. You get what I'm saying? Because if you really sit back and think about it for real, why do parents let their kids listen to this drill music? You get what I'm saying? And you wonder why they go into the streets and do drill street stuff and end up somewhere where they don't supposed to be for real. You get what I'm saying? That's exactly what's going on in all these states, cities, communities, stuff like that. If you understand this, if you understand me and figure it out and do your research for real, if you got kids, then you will understand what I'm talking about. You get what I'm saying? From seeing other kids and families that's being broken. You get what I'm saying? That's something that you should be aware to, something that'll change your mind and get your kids on board. You get what I'm saying? Respectfully coming in for real. So that's the things that what's going on right now in this world and also in your community, wherever you from, state, local, state, community, wherever you might be at for real. That's something that you want to pay attention to, something that you want to be on board with your kids at all times. And it's best important to focus on your kids nowadays in this world, the hard times that we living in, respectfully. That's the things that you ought to be doing, taking your kids' health and education serious right now. You get what I'm saying? That's what we ought to be doing. But hold up. That ain't exactly what's happening. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like everything is broken. Everything is falling apart. But let me check this out. It can be fixed if you put your mindset to it and get it done. You get what I'm saying? Because we got to stop sitting back making up excuses for ourselves, making up excuses for our kids in this environment and what we headed to. Real deal. That's exactly where our mindset should be focused on. It shouldn't be focused on nothing else besides the important things that I'm sitting up here spitting. Good knowledge, good wisdom, all that particular type of good stuff. Kids shouldn't be running around popping their ass and wearing fake tits and all that and growing up before their time. They should still be kids in school getting their education. But let me check this out. You got the parents that's nowadays in this generation that what we living in is that really a bad influence on their kids because they sit back and see what their parents do and they do what their parents do and they think it's cool. You see, they'll go in their mama room and put on some high heels and put on some lipstick and thinking that's cool for real because they sit back and seeing what the mama doing. And the mama shouldn't be doing it. The mama should be sitting at the table with a pen and a piece of paper giving them kids that education that they belong. You get what I'm saying? So you got to watch what you do in front of your kids because what you do in front of your kids can be a bad influence in front of your kids. You get what I'm saying? That's exactly what it should be doing. It should be a bad influence on your kids. Whatever you do in front of your kids, it's a bad influence on your kids. Just like if you're around your kid and you picking up a gun or whatever, your kids see you picking up a gun. Do you think your kid gonna do the same thing? Exactly. Because he see daddy walking around with a gun, liking this cool, a thug, gangster, whatever you want to call it. And now you're putting a bad influence on your kid, thinking what you're doing is cool for him to do. But 9 times out of 10, let me tell you something. It's not. It's a bad influence on your kids in this environment, in this world we living in. You get what I'm saying? Because you sit back with a gun and thinking it's cool for your kids to go get a gun and carry a gun, and you just setting your kid up. You just send your kids up either in 2 ways, death or jail. That's what you're doing to the young kids in the environment. So don't you think you will be a different type of influence on your kids instead of being like a negative influence on your kids? You get what I'm saying? For you to sit back and see the things that you're doing for real. And you're supposed to be leadership to your kids, not doing things